everybody. Welcome back to SGU Uncut for our brand new series, Moving Forward. I have a guest with me today who I'm very happy to have on the show. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited, actually.
Good, awesome.
Very excited.
Do you want to let everyone know who you are?
Yeah, so my name's Ryan. I've met Emily here at Nativity through student programs. And it was just a great experience. I was like, dang, this girl's kind of cool. And then here we are, the hair flip. I love it. Yep. Here we are on a podcast together. But at Nativity, I'm on the creative tech team. So I kind of help do the broadcasts and the live streams and all the graphics and all that stuff here at Nativity. I'm also a senior at Cabot Hall. So senior year, just finished first semester. But I don't like to think of this as the second semester of senior year. It's kind of the last semester of high school.
So sad.
It's kind of sad, but I mean, it's been a good ride. And hopefully it just gets better from here.
Yeah. Well, once you graduate, you can join us here in SGU.
I'm already halfway there.
There we go. That's the spirit. Well, anyways, we are in our brand new series, Moving Forward, just like I said, where we're talking all about community. And community is such an important aspect of life. I think you have to have people surrounded by you and supporting you to go through your life successfully and happily and live a joyful life.
Definitely.
I think we live in an isolating time in the modern world, so we have to work to build that community and to be a part of one. Where do you see your most influential community in your life?
It would definitely be at Cabot Hall. So at Cabot Hall, I'm part of the peer ministry program. And part of that peer ministry program is not only to build a community inside of that program, but it's also to spread and build community outside the program. So peer ministry consists of 39 guys who it's an application process. So you apply, you get interviewed, and you get accepted. So 39 guys, but those 39 guys' jobs is to not only, like I said, build the community in the program, but also to build it in the school community. So for example, the food drive that we do at Thanksgiving, the guys kind of initiate the food drive. They kind of run it. So they'll bring in the cans, and then hopefully when other guys in the school see that the peer ministers brought in the cans, that encourages them to bring in the cans.
Yeah.
And just stuff like that. So it's been a huge role in my life. I've seen kids who have gone before me, seen the men that they've come out to be, and I just hope that I can shape out and end up like them, because they're very successful, and they're just great people overall.
I love that you take your community and then put it back out into the wider community. It's like you're all becoming one community together, although you might be separate. You're working towards the same goal and starting the same missions. And part of that is building relationships with the people you're in community with and the people you're going to be in community with. Because when we're in a healthy relationship with another person, whether it be a friendship, a romantic relationship, family, we have a trust, respect, and love for that person. What do you get out of having those relationships in that community?
So I think that I get out what I give them. So if I give them respect, if I'm there for them, if I give them a laugh when they need it, whatever it is that I give them, I think that I get that in return. Because we form that community. We all are there for each other. And that's something that's great about Cabot Hall, is they're known for their brotherhood. And peer ministry is a perfect example of the brotherhood at Cabot Hall. So if you're feeling down, you have 38 other guys that you can go to and talk to them and just show them that you're upset. And if you've helped them in the past, then you'll get what you give them in return. And the best thing that you get, if you give, is homework. So if you give them homework, then you'll get homework in return. It's like the best. It's like a win-win. So
got the question number 4?
Yeah, but it gets difficult sometimes, because sometimes you'll be talking about 2 different homework assignments, and then it'll cause a controversy. So it'll be like, oh, I got Abraham Lincoln, and then some kid will be like, I got 21. So then you're like, oh, who's in the wrong here? Who messed up? So no, but it's definitely the way that I receive it is by giving them what I want in return.
So it's kind of like a support. I was about to say support group. It's not like a support group. It's like a support system.
Yeah.
Where you help each other grow. You're growing together. You
That's
get
exactly
what
right.
you give, and
Yep.
you give what you get. So honing in on the fact that it's a faith community with the peer ministry, or what you do here at Creative Tech at Nativity, or student programs, I think it's different than any other community because it's grounded in and centered around God, and that Him being this all-powerful being, He only has good to give us. And when we're grounded in those good values and missions, then we become successful and have happy relationships. Because we're all one being, we're all one group of people working towards the same God of, like, our mission here at Nativity is to love God, love others, and make disciples. That's what we're all working towards. And this passage from the Bible sums it up with, for just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. It's a little confusing when you read it, but if you dive into it and understand it, it's we are all one working towards the same goal. Does this speak to you about your faith community and how your faith community might be different from other communities you've been in?
Yeah, so it's a little hard to comprehend, like you said. But one thing that I kind of take away, and everyone's going to take something out of this passage differently. It's just the way that the human brain works. So I could say one thing, you could say another thing, and people watching could say a different thing. But one thing that I kind of focus on is it's saying, not necessarily saying it, but I kind of comprehend that we all came from the same place. So we all start as a baby and we all grow. And then we all came from Adam and Eve. It's just the way it worked, or wherever the first creation was, is where we came from. So that's something that we all have in common. And when we're forming this big community as one, but it's our job to form little communities outside of that one big community where we all came from.
And that message, like being connected like that, you mentioned earlier, there's kind of like a vulnerability factor being in a community, and especially a faith community, because faith isn't private, but it's personal, and we grow the most when we allow people into our personal community. And when it's in faith, it implements into every aspect of our life. Just like your community and peer ministry, you open it up to your bigger community. That's what we do in our faith community. We take these messages, we learn, like we're coming from the same place, we're working towards the same goal of loving God and loving others, and we're coming together as one. How do you see that happen in your community? I mean, you had the one like the food drive, so it's stuff like that.
No, I think also being in a small group is a great example of that. So when you first have small group, maybe the first week that you all meet, it might be a little awkward, but it's your job. You should take the first steps. You should be the bigger person and help that community build. So you've already made a community, but it's your job to make the community build. And like a perfect example is like when there's a group chat made, right? And no one wants to send out the first text. Everyone wants to have the group chat, but no one wants to send out the first text. Even if it's just a simple hi, no one wants to do it. Because they're worried about saying the wrong thing. But one thing that also would help is time. Time is a great gift that we all have, but it can also be a weapon if you don't use it correctly. But if you give it time, if you know where you want the community to go, then I think the time could be very effective as well.
And going back to what you said earlier about how you get what you give, I think in a small group or a faith community that implements too. It's like when you open up, it's like in the group chat, if you're the first to say hi, people are going to respond. People are going to start the conversation. If you open up to your community, they'll open up to you and you'll become stronger. It's all about relationships and being in relationship with each other in a community.
Another great example that I could think of that just kind of came to me is with all this college stuff, once you get accepted, you like join like the Facebook group chats and the Snapchat group chats and all that, and you don't know what to say. Like it's just awkward. But if you initiate a conversation, you ask how everyone's day was at school, you ask how everyone's doing, you ask this, you ask that, then that will force other people to respond if they're comfortable. And if they're comfortable, then there you are building the community by just having other people respond to your simple question.
So the bottom line is we as Christians, we're all working towards the same goal. Love God, love others, and make disciples. And that's what a faith community is all about. Those three things and growing in and towards those three things. So this week, think about relationships you have in your community. How are your peers helping you grow, and how can you help your peers grow? Ryan, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
This was so fun hanging
it was
out
awesome.
together.
It was good. It was really fun.
Did great. And thank you all for joining us today for week 1 of Moving Forward. We hope that our conversation here fuels your conversation in small group, and we'll see you next week.